In this video, we'll talk about Executor. Managing and executing a few tasks or threads is easy, but it becomes difficult when we have hundreds and thousands of threads running simultaneously. Executor framework helps you in creating and managing threads in an application. The most important feature of this framework is the separation of concerns. It lets the developer create tasks, runnable and callable, and let the framework decide when, how, and where to execute that task on a thread, which is totally configurable. How does Executor work? The work of an executor is to execute tasks. The executor picks up a thread from the thread pool to execute a task. If a thread is not available and new threads cannot be created, then the executor stores those tasks in a queue. A task can also be removed from the queue. Thread pool executor. Executor is the base interface of the executor framework and has only one method, execute. Executor service and scheduled executor service are two other interfaces which extends executor. Thread pool executor is an implementation of the executor service interface. The thread pool executor executes the given task using one of its internally pooled threads. Thread pool executors. There are 5 types of thread pool executors with pre-built methods in executor interface. The first one is fixed thread pool executor, and we have seen this example of creating the fixed thread pool executor with when we created example of calculating numbers. So it creates a thread pool of fixed number of threads, and any task over the number of threads will wait in the queue until the thread is available. And how you create this? Thread pool executor is equal to executors.new fixed thread pool and the number of threads in that pool. Cache thread pool executors creates a thread pool that creates new thread as needed. It will reuse the previously constructed threads when they are available. Use this thread pool with caution, as can bring down system if the numbers of thread goes beyond what the system can handle. How do you create this? Thread pool executor. Executor is executors.new cache thread pool. The third one is scheduled thread pool executor. It creates a thread pool that can schedule command to run after a given delay or to execute periodically. And how do you run this? Is thread pool executor is equal to executors.new schedule thread pool. Single thread pool executor. It creates single thread to execute all tasks. Use it when you have only one task to execute. And how do you create it? Is thread pool executor is equal to executors.new single thread executor. Work stealing thread pool executor creates a thread pool that maintains enough threads to support the given parallelism level. Here, parallelism level means the maximum number of threads which will be used to execute a given task at a single point in multiprocessor machine. And we'll be seeing more of this example with the implementation of our fork join framework. Here you create the thread pool executor. Executor is equal to executors.new work stealing pool. How to delegate tasks to an executor service? There are a few different ways to delegate tasks to an executor service. The first one is execute. It takes runnable implementation and executes it asynchronously. Second one is submit. It takes runnable implementation and return a future object. The future object can be used to check if the runnable has finished executing. Submit callable. It takes callable implementation and returns a future object. Invoke any. It takes collection of callable objects. Invoke this method does not return any future, but returns the result of one of the callable objects. And invoke all. This method invokes all capable objects passed as parameter. It returns the future object which can be used to get the results of the execution of each callable.